Hey, what's going on guys, Migzuba here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a Mardu control mid-rangey deck for standard best of one. So just like the last video, I'm going to do a brief intro, more talking about the deck as a whole and less about each individual card because I think that works pretty well. So briefly, this is, like I said, a Mardu mostly control deck built around Reconstruct History. Now, this is a new-ish sorcery from Strixhaven. 2 red-white. Return up to 1 target artifact card, up to 1 target enchantment card, instant card, sorcery card, and planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. Then you exile Reconstruct History so you can't basically fetch it with itself. And yeah, so this can essentially be a 4-mana draw, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is pretty solid. So in order to leverage this card, we build our deck with a bunch of useful enchantments, artifacts, planeswalkers, and instants and sorceries. So basically, we try to control the game, grind our opponents out. It's a lot better against aggro. We run a ton of removal, but we have game against Sultai, which you will see in the games. And yes, I pre-recorded the games because I was just in the mood to play some Magic. Can you really blame me? Magic's fucking fun. But yeah, so we can grind with control your opponents, but this deck is really built to take on aggro. We have a bunch of cheap interactive spells, Heartless Act, Vanishing Verse, Rip Apart. Rip Apart's here because it is a sorcery and it can deal with artifacts and enchantments, so it's one of the other sorceries you can get back with your Reconstruct History. But really, we just have a suite of awesome cards, right? Like, the instants are here to keep you alive. Bone Crusher Giant is a sweet instant. It's put in a ton of work for me today. Basically, even though it is a creature, it is a... and you can't get it back with Reconstruct History. It's such a powerful card in the meta that I think it's really hard to justify not running it. And we have so many hits anyways. We have 8 instants, 9 sorceries, 5 artifacts, 6 enchantments, and 3 planeswalkers. Valky, unfortunately, isn't a planeswalker. It's a creature, so you can't actually fetch it back. But it's a sick card advantage engine, so we run it anyways. Most of the time, you're getting back a couple cards. You have like your Lantern to exile the yard, and or if not, you can use it to cycle for a card, and you have Solemn Simulacrum as your artifacts. You have more enchantments like Birth to help get you through your deck, Nightmare to destroy some things, disrupt rogues, exile some yards like against cycling. We got some Elspeth Conquers Deaths, can be really good. We have some creatures to reanimate, Solemn Simulacrum with a nice ETB, and we have really powerful planeswalkers to reanimate. What else do we have? More Graveyard Hate and Cling to Dust, plus it's an escape card. We're playing best of one. Tome is interesting. I found Tome very useful to smooth out my draw, my mana, gain me some life, and be a really solid tool against the controller decks of the format. But it doesn't actually go into your yard, it exiles itself, so you can't get it back with Reconstruct History, which is unfortunate, unless it gets blown up somehow by, like, I don't know, Witherbloom Command or something, if that ever really happens. But yeah, you have the Tome. It's a really good card. Remorse and Predation as some tools against Sultai that you can rebuy with your history. Lorehold Command as a very versatile removal spell that can also be useful against control your matchups where you don't need to use the Lightning Helix effect. And yeah, that's basically the deck. You'll see the games. We act as a Mardu control deck a lot of the time and then just use Reconstruct History to get a ton of value. It plays better than it looks, trust me. We have tuned the deck with a bunch of 1 and 2 ofs to be good against a lot of different matchups. No Eliminates because I want Vanishing Verse to do the job that Eliminate would otherwise do, and 4 Heartless Acts because Winota. I guess I am kind of talking about individual card choices, and we are kind of rambling a little bit. Mana base is very standard, skewed towards, I guess, red and white with a bit of, black and white with a bit of red because red is our 3rd color. And yeah, guys, the deck list will be in the description down below as always. If you like the deck, be sure to drop a like on the video and consider subscribing. It motivates me to make more content. So that's gonna be it for me, guys. Let's get into some games. Okay, we're against Yorion, though we have some good anti-Yorion cards in our virtually removal pile. So let's see what we can do. We have 1 Hand Hate spell, which is kind of why this is here. And it will most likely end up being a actual Palaka's Predation, because we have 4 mana. Okay, there's the Tome. Really good against us. Oh man. Looks like we're in big time trouble. And opponent scries. I'm hoping Ugin plus ECD can help get us there along with the Palaka Predation. But we could be in for a rough game. This deck has a really good aggro matchup and a really bad Sultai matchup. But I guess that's just the consequence of playing this type of deck. Opponent will ramp, although we do have some anti-Sultai cards. First, actual white source down, or like pure white source. Let's take a look at that hand. What is this? I guess we take Salundi Vision, because we don't really run any creatures. Cool, so I guess this is like weird. Or maybe this is still Ultimatum, I'm not even sure. Disdainful Stroke seems good against us though, and opponent should definitely be saving this to draw. But to be fair, a lot of people don't know what we're actually playing. It's just Mardu colors into a hand hate spell. Like, it's not exactly typical. Yeah, I don't know why the opponent's scrying so hard on upkeep. They should just be drawing cards with their tome and like probably cycling this thing. They buy Yorion, hold open Disdainful Stroke. Plenty of land. I don't think it really matters. I guess I can get this down as like a red source. And we can pass. We need double white, we need double black. Let me just double check for other things. Yeah, that's really it. Aside from that, we just need like a good split of cards. I think red is our least important color. Opponent plays just raw Yorion. Blinking Tome. Maybe they want the life. I'm not even sure. Like, you do target the tome here. Yeah, they target tome. Okay, cool. So do I Heartless Act or do I go for an ECD? ECD currently doesn't reanimate anything, but it uses our mana and taxes them. So I think we just hold. Well, they have other cards that are important to take out, like Liliana. But we have Ugin. Yeah, I think we still use the ECD here, though. Solemn. Okay, so we get punished, but it's okay. So this is white. Actually, I'll get this down on black. And then we can go ECD. So because we drew the Simulacrum, I guess I should have probably used Heartless Act so we could just play this on 4. Opponent, again, scrying with the tome. Really aggressive on the scrying. But at least the ECD tax will give us time to accumulate more land for Ugin. And if they just pass here and we play a Solemn... Oh, well, I guess they just hit us with that. Let's go. No untap land. And there's a pause. Well, I mean, to be fair, Tome could also be holding something up. This probably gets Disdainful Stroked, which is unfortunate, but at least we're still hitting lands. Like, naturally. Yep. And at least that means they don't get further on the tome. So right now they're on 6 lands, but only 1 green source. So if they are an ultimatum deck, they're going to need to draw another green source along with the binding. Well, I guess only 1 green source because the binding will probably get Sultai Triome. And they scry 2 to the bottom and immediately shuffle their deck with the binding. So I don't know, opponent's really aggressive on these scries. I do not agree with that playstyle. Okay, there's all the green sources that they need. And they can cycle this now. Yep, there's green. So this has to be ultimatum, or that card, or the card they cycle into. Yeah. Okay, more natural land. I'm going to play this out. We'll be able to pay for Dispute. I suppose I can get another red down. Just spread out my mana distribution a bit more. So yeah, we play land first to play around Mystical Dispute. I'm not even sure if they're running it, but it's worth a shot. Fetch Swamp because we have Birth of Melides and I want them to be live cards if ever I draw them. We have to be careful. We know they have a lot of main deck answers to Ugin, as in the bindings. But I have not actually been checking up on all the latest Sultai builds. They're all pretty much the same deck with a couple flex cards here and there. So I don't stress too much about it, but I don't know if the builds right now are running lots of answers to Ugin. There's a Vorinclex, which is a good reason to have not used the Heartless Act before. Yep. Okay. And we get in there. I guess we get more white down. Play around Drori's Disruption by playing land first. And we can start plussing our dragon. Does Reconstruct History do anything right now? We get a sorcery, instant, artifact, and enchantment. So a Reconstruct History is a really solid draw. Haven, some ramp, totally fine. Extinction Event, exiling my Simulacrum, Sedge. And now they just have a Verdict. Okay, Rip Apart isn't exactly great. We Ugin both face and just pray they don't draw Ultimatum one time. Especially with two sorceries in our hand. Professor Onyx, does it say creature or planeswalker? Or each player or each opponent sacrifices a creature. Nice. Okay, they just use it to draw. That's fine. And they bin 2 lands. Okay. So is this a Binding the Old Gods? They have 4 mana. They got 3 looks at it. It's a Haven. Let's go. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, so we ultimate our Ugin. Nice. Okay, that's really good. Now we get to put 7 permanents onto the battlefield. So we go 1, 2, 3. I guess I could put double Nightmare down. Sure, 4, 5. Do I want to play this for free, or do I want the 2 damage? I guess the 2 damage can matter. I'm using 4 mana on Reconstruct History. And then getting back Simulacrum. So I guess we'll put this into play for free. No, we have 2 more mana for free off the land, so we're going to hold the giant. Okay. Sweet. Search for planes. This is so sick. Okay, so then we can reconstruct for all these cards. Artifact, enchantment, sorcery, instant sorcery. No planeswalker, but I think we'll be okay. Mm-hmm. And we exile. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have just played this, but I think it's fine. We're gonna pass. Get the 2 damage on face and say go. Yep. Opponent has a draw, but we have Heartless Act to deal with like a Vorinclex if they run another one at instant speed. And they drew land. Alright, nice. Start to make some 2/2s. I guess that's a reason to also have Stomp Up. So 4 mana draw 4 seems pretty good, which is what Reconstruct History basically netted us. Okay, stomp the 2/2. And we can cling out, I guess, the binding. I want to use it to draw, so this works. Land is fine. It means I get to hold Predation. Okay, and all my sagas are gonna go nuts for a second. Mm-hmm. And the tax is up. Very cool. So we will start by bolting face. Continuing by ramping with the Simulacrum. Take action. Grab Swamp. Play out my Bone Crusher Giant. Can play this land on white. And we can pass from there. Cycle Triome. We're looking pretty good. Opponent's just trying to top deck Ultimatum. But even if they do, we're in a pretty solid spot. Oh my god, they actually rip it. Okay, that's pretty funny. Okay. Show me what you got. Like, what do you take? Like, Allrun's Epiphany? Maybe Valky? Maybe. The yard's about to get wiped with these nightmares. So they get to redraw what? If they pick Valky, Vorinclex, and a bunch of like mediocre cards and some lands. Okay, what do they pick? Kiora, Gargaroth, and Epiphany. This makes it even odd. I'm putting this back. So yeah, we put away the Epiphany and we give them Kiora and Gargaroth. Because we can blow up Kiora with the Rip Apart. And then exile everything with the event. Or exile the 8/8. Okay. So Kiora makes the Hexproof Kraken. Gargaroth will come down. Cycle Triome. Tome is good. And we shoot Gargaroth. Okay, sweet. Graveyard very, very exiled. So now Valky Ultimate isn't as scary. I could -0 and just exile this. So I think that's what we do. We get to keep our Simulacrum if we do it that way. But do I have lethal? If I hit even, I get to hit for 7. No, we don't. First things first, we're going to blow this up. And then I think we just -0. We get rid of our wall, but oh well. We'll survive. Oh, we don't even get rid of our wall. Weird. Oh, because it's an artifact. Okay, sick. Tome. Tome draw. And we can play out our land and pass the turn. Okay. So the opponent has to deal with Ugin and our board, or they're just dead. And we beat Yorion, our worst matchup. To be fair, opponent's draw wasn't crazy, and my draw was, I mean, I don't want to say insane because our deck's just a massive pile of mid-range and removal, but honestly, that was a fun game. Okay, on the draw, all our colors, we have some interaction, removal, Bone Crusher Giant, and some hand hate in case we're up against something slower. Alright, opponent slamming the Savior. Alright, so I guess we just start on Swamp. And see from there. More Heartless Acts seem good. Okay, it's Winota. Sweet. Maybe not Winota. Interesting. Triple Heartless Act. Also pretty funny. Nice. So if this is Winota, we have 3 answers. I'm gonna take this 1 damage. Just to see what the opponent does afterwards. They go for a Bone Crusher Giant Slam. I guess we stomp this now, so they can't sacrifice in response. Simulacrum is okay. I'm gonna get a White Source down. And I think we just pass. Hold open all our Doomblade effects. Because if they go land Winota, we want to kill it. Yeah. And we can kill the Bone Crusher Giant. Because the Winota won't trigger. It just kind of sits there doing nothing for a turn. And that means I can down another Black Source, go Heartless Act, take their last card, and then it's a land. Okay, cool. I guess we're just going to exile one of these things. Sorry, Agonizing Remorse, take their last card, and then Heartless Act the Winota. Which is all fine and good. Okay, they go for a Rimrock Knight. And we're just going to shoot this thing down. If we draw untap land, I'll go for a Bone Crusher Giant. If we don't, I'll just go for a Simulacrum. Okay, and Simulacrum it is. I'm gonna fetch a White Source, even though we have Births. I want double white available in case we draw ECD. Shieldmate, interesting. Okay. So these both aren't humans, and this is odd and even. We have Winota, so we have Heartless Act, so as long as we don't tap out, or not tap out, but tap below Heartless Act mana, then the opponent can't really just burst kill us. So if I go for... what's the best use of my mana? I could play Bone Crusher Giant, hold everything open. I could Simulacrum, but that doesn't really do anything. I could Birth, get a land and Simulacrum, but if we draw a Winota, we're in trouble. Yeah, much love. Okay, I'm just gonna play Bone Crusher Giant. And no point in attacking. I'll give him some love back. Another shield mate. Sure. That's not bad. I'm going to start getting aggressive. We have so much removal and so many sweepers. Okay, they take 4. So I can birth into like Plains, Hold Open, Stomp plus Heartless Act. Seems pretty good. The more mana I have, the better. Plus, this kind of thins my deck into having less lands in the future. So it's more likely for me to draw actual gas. And the 0-4 can be relevant. Another Shieldmate, and the opponent scoops it up. Okay, so drawing 3 Heartless Acts against Winota is pretty good. We also have like an Extinction event, another Bone Crusher Giant. We just have like enough mid-rangey value so that they can't take over the game fast enough, and it gets us there. Okay, mana is a little bit awkward, but we have Tome to help smooth it out, plus more interaction here. Let's keep. Now, this is a decision. I think this is definitely black. Red is a secondary color, but we might need it for the Bone Crusher Giant. Okay, Plains into Selfless Savior. That's a really good draw. It means this can be our white source, and I could just chill out and play my cards out on curve without having to worry about getting a tome down and filtering for the correct mana. Okay, Orzhov. Orzhov into Luminarch Aspirant. I'm going to stomp the dog, then go for a Elspeth's Nightmare on 3. Weird, maybe some sort of Cleric's build. Okay, so we go removal spell, and now we're tapped out. So we will see what the opponent can come up with. Untapped land here is really strong. We either get to Cling plus Bone Crusher Giant, or Tome plus Vanishing Verse. And it's an Alseid, okay. That is definitely not an untapped land, but at least we get to look at the opponent's hand. Dire Tactics, gone. I think we just get on the board. The opponent's hand cannot solve a Bone Crusher Giant, so we just slam that. And Alseid is pretty bad against the deck with 3 colors. I mean, I say bad, it's still fine, it's just not like ideal because they can't protect from one thing. Okay, there's untapped land, we get to wipe the opponent's yard, which isn't great considering I might have wanted to cling one of these things for cards. We'll get double white down. And play out Tome. We want to play a long, dragged out game. We have so much card advantage in our Planeswalkers, in our Reconstruct history, in our Tomes. So as long as we're staying alive and at literally 20 life, we should be on the road to win this one. Yep, the opponent literally just can't get through a Bone Crusher Giant, and we ride that straight to victory. Man, all these percentage people, if I lose, I will absolutely tank my rank, and it's the last like 24 hours-ish of the season, so I'm kind of bugging out. Okay, I guess we just put this on red, and we'll see if we want to play Bone Crusher Giant, Agonizing Remorse, or Birth on 2. You gotta be really careful and hope we're against something aggressive. Blue-white does not seem great right off the bat. Valiant Rescuer. Okay, so it's cycling. Alright. I guess we put this down on white to be able to to use Birth in the future. And we're gonna stomp this now. Okay, well, our cycling matchup should be interesting because we have a bunch of exile graveyard effects, plus Agonizing Remorse can try to take a flare. And opponent cycles. What a shock. But this might be a get aggressive type game where we slam Bone Crusher Giant on 3. Oh no, opponent found their 3rd land. I was hoping we get to dodge that for a minute. Okay, well, since we're drawing land, I don't feel pressure to use Birth. So we're going to play out Bone Crusher Giant. Maybe Simulacrum on 4. Or we might like Birth and Stomp or Heartless Act something and Birth. Or maybe double removal spell. We'll see. Okay, that's a problem. That is a big problem. This thing generating fairies for them every turn is going to be an issue, so we have to find our rip apart. Free block. Seems good. I can fetch double planes. I think that's fine. It might have been better to use Simulacrum, but I kind of like getting both of these down and thinning my library. Okay, so this can be a red source. We have plenty of white right now. We do need double black. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Not like this. Not like this. So opponent's trying to flare kill me and just generate a bunch of blockers to stall me out. So we need Elspeth's Nightmare. Like pretty badly. Single block. Yup. These are annoying cards. 5 cards in yard. I could like stomp and play Bone Crusher. That might be the plan. Meaning I would need double red, which we can supply right here. So we're gonna do it. Just try to get more on the board. Okay. More mana is good. I mean, Ugin also deals with these, and we're building up to 8 mana, but we have to actually find our Ugin. Oh my god. Okay. Third alliance. I wonder if the opponent will try to trade for a Bone Crusher Giant at some point. Event, so I can name even. Is that even good? Event and name even, then I can use Agonizing Remorse. I lose my walls, but whatever, we get him for 8. I'm gonna use Remorse first and see what the opponent's working with. Double Zenith Flare Boon. Alright, well that's one flare down. Even. We lose our walls, but whatever. Okay. Triple Alliance. My god. So I would really like to draw Ugin right about now. And just draw land. Just draw land. Yeah, they might have, or they're just trying to hold open Flare. We'll play the land they know about. This can also be black. Okay, they cycled Triome. I mean, it was land, but it was a land with cycling. Okay. Oh my god. I don't think we're beating Triple Alliance without an Ugin or something. They can triple block and triple block. That's so tough. Alright. Well, I will be destroying one of these in order to save one of my giants. Yep. And we're gonna play out Simulacrum. Okay. I guess we're gonna grab black. Alright. We just have to hope the opponent can flat out for a second. Nope, that's a go for blood. 3 more fairies. And now they're gonna pass, hold open Flare and 2 cyclers. And we really need to draw something good. Okay, that's a land. Okay. That's something. It's board presence. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. They can just activate one of these things. Nope, they cycle Go for Blood. And now they can't activate. So what's the play? If they try to triple block this Bone Crusher Giant, I will stomp. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Now we're just chilling, right? doing what we can. Okay. On what, 9 mana? It's pretty jokes. And I guess more black. I really don't think it matters at this point. Okay, we're like 36% to draw land, but we can see that here, so I don't even know why I'm looking. I guess I'm just looking at what we can actually draw that would matter in this matchup. One, Rip Apart seems kind of lackluster at this stage. Okay, at least the opponent is flooding though, but they're holding open Zenith Flare. Oh no. Okay, Ice Cycle land. ECD. Fuck. Okay. I attack. At least we could try to tax them, so I'm gonna play this out. 3 on the Bone Crusher Giant, okay. And eventually this will reanimate something. Opponent goes to 4. I'm playing the ECD. Naked ECD, tax their Zenith Flare, if ever. And then maybe reanimate something. Right now they're hitting me for 12 with a flare, so I'm dead to double flare. And we know there's 2 left in their deck. Pyro. Fuck. Monka S Pyro. Okay, so maybe I should have held ECD. They just fucking fireball me. Let's go. Ugin, Ugin, Ugin. That's not Ugin. Or sorry, not fireball, bolt me. More lands, no. Fuck, man. No attacks, there's literally no point. Oh, this is so unfortunate. Okay, they cycle. They cycle again. Make more 1/1s. Bolt my face. 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'm not dead to these fairies, but it's close. Yeah, give me that sweet card. Fuck. That would have been good to actually have its sorcery speed, so I could thin my deck out of even more lands. Man, we did not get our Soul Guide Lantern, Elspeth's Nightmare, or Rip Apart. We're getting absolutely farmed this matchup. Second Pyro. We really just need a top deck Ugin. Can we do it? Ugin one time. Fucking Vanishing Verse. Well, I ramp with my Simulacrum. Alright, that's GG's, I guess. Well, you know what? No, I think it is game. Because no matter what happens, they can just activate this after they draw. Or just literally kill me in the air. GG's.